In today's video I will show you how to use camera for your Android as well as iOS app in React Native's new architecture without using a third-party library. Once we capture the photo from the camera, we will display it inside an image view as well. So let's get started. So I have created a default React Native project. Next, to enable the new architecture, you have to in Android just search for new arc enabled and make this as true. And for iOS you have to run this command. Then you can run yarn iOS or yarn Android, and you should see fabric true in the metro bundler, which means new architecture has been enabled. Next we will go to fabric native components. So this is a bit involved. This process is bit involved for displaying a camera, capturing a photo and displaying it inside an image view, because once an image is captured, you can what I am doing is that I am saving it to the Photos app for iOS or the Photos app for Android, and then displaying it inside an image view. Other way is you can just capture it from the camera and then hide your camera and display it inside an image view. So what I will do is that I won't go through this documentation because I have gone through it many a times, but yeah. So what I will do, what you have to do is that first you have, for Android you require permissions for Android for camera as well as to write it to the external storage if you are using Android P or lesser version of Android. So just go to create this folder rtn my permissions, create Android folder and create JS folder. So for JS folder I have created native my permissions.ts and I have copy pasted this from the documentation. So this rtn my permission is a turbo module, it is not a fabric. So I will just ask for camera and write permission, and this is also specifically for Android. Next I will go to package.json and I have copied this from the documentation. So if you are interested you can go over here, turbo native modules. Okay, and again I like we don't require this is iOS specific, but I have created any which ways, and this file name has been changed, otherwise everything copied from documentation. Next go to Android, go to build.gradle. Again I have copy pasted this from documentation, only thing changes this Kotlin Android plugin as well as this namespace has been changed, and I have added Kotlin standard lib as well. Next I have gone to src, I have created my permission module.kt, and again I have copy pasted this from the documentation, and here you can see I am asking for camera permission, and if you are using Android P or less, then I will require the write external storage permission as well. And once you call this the rest of the code for checking whether the permission has been granted or not is written in the main activity. I will show you that in a bit, and you have to write this companion object as well. Next in my permission package other, again I have copy pasted this from the documentation. Yeah, nothing much here. Next go to the main Android folder, go to app, go to build.gradle, and you have to add this apply plugin Kotlin Android, as well as you have to add Kotlin standard lib over here as well. Next make sure this Kotlin version is also updated to 1.8.0, and you have to add this as well. Once that is done, go to src, go to main, go to android manifest.xml, and you have to add this all permissions. So first one is the camera permission and second is the write external storage. Next go to Java, go to main activity.kt. Now this might be a Java file in your project, so I have converted it to a Kotlin file. Again if you open this main Android folder main Android folder inside Android Studio, you will see that there is an option at the top menu of Android Studio to convert Java to Kotlin file, so I have just done that. Next I have written the same code for camera as well as write external storage, and this is the method which gets called when you are requesting permission from camera. And here you can see I'm sending the a boolean value depending on whether the permission has been accepted or not. So here the permission is accepted, so I'm sending true, otherwise I'm sending false. And this is a helper method which I have created to check whether the permission has been granted or not. Okay, so that's it for rtn my permission. Next I will go to rtn my camera. So here again you have to create this JS folder, and again I have copy pasted this from documentation. So this is a fabric component, and here I get a callback of on photo captured. So this callback will be specifically only for Android, we won't be using it for iOS. For iOS I will show you how to handle it differently, because we are writing this code in Swift, so it is a little bit trickier to get this callback. Okay, next go to Android src. You have to create all these folders. So again, build.gradle, I have copied it from documentation. I have added this Kotlin standard lib. I have changed the namespace, and I have added Kotlin standard lib over here as well, and I have added the camera permission, as well as I have added constraint layout. Next I will go to my camera.kt. So one issue which I was facing specifically for React Native, even though I have added this permission of this library of constraint layout, what was happening is that, so I wanted to show the camera preview of CameraX as well as a button to click on so that the user can capture the photo, but React Native is, it was causing a lot of issue. The button was occupying the entire width and height, which was very bonkers to me. Like, I couldn't really understand. Means I have written the right code according to me, but still I think the issue is due to this we have to do this setup layout hack and manually layout children. So I have faced this issue previously as well, right? For doing this native views in Android. So what I am doing is that currently if you are clicking on that preview of camera, I am taking the photo, but here you can see I have written all the code for it, which I have commented out, unfortunately, because it wasn't working. The button used to take the entire width and height. I tried commenting out this in different ways as well, but it wasn't working for me. But this code works completely fine in Android. There are no such issues as such. So React Native is little bit tricky and does not play nice sometimes. So yeah, so here you can see this my camera.kt, and I'm extending from constraint layout, and I have defined this preview view which is required for camera. This I have copy pasted from documentation, and this button is not required, but if you want you can give it a try. And this is how the file format would be, whatever image we will be saved. Here we are defining the constraint layout params, assigning it to our constraint layout, and here I am defining my preview. So I have already defined my preview over here, right? So I have commented that out, and I have given it an ID. I am adding it to our constraint layout, and you also need this constraint set. Then I am constraining it to the top right and left bottom. Okay, that is what this code is, and I'm giving it a margin of 200 because I wanted to show this button, but this wasn't working. So if you don't want to give this, that is fine as well. Next, this is layout hack and manually layout children. This is I have copy pasted this from GitHub because native views does not play nicely with React Native, and you have to write this as well. And when you click anywhere on the preview view, it takes a photo. And here we are setting up the camera, and again I have copy pasted this from the CameraX documentation, and this is the logic for taking photo. Once the photo is captured, we are saving it to our external storage. Once that is done, okay, and here here is the entire code for starting the camera. Okay, so that is done. Now we have to define a camera event as well, because once the image is captured, we want to send the image URI to React Native side. Okay, but you can't use that URI with React Native's image view. Okay, React Native's image whatever image component, that won't work. You have to use a native image view again. So what I could have easily captured the image from camera and then hide the camera, and instead of saving it to photos, I could have directly pass that image captured from camera to image view. But I wanted to do it the hard way, because there could be a scenario that you have to save that captured photo to your local and then display it inside an image view. So that's why I have done it the hard way. Now here this is boilerplate code for sending a callback from React Native to the native side. Next, in my camera manager, again I have copy pasted this code from the docs. One thing is, you have to write this because you are doing a callback, and make sure this name is correct. Next, again this is copied from the documentation. I have already discussed about build.gradle. Okay, that's it for RTN camera. And now RTN my image is a custom image view. So here you can see in JS I have defined, so image URL whatever we will get from our camera view, that we are sending it from React Native to native side. And here I have defined the package.json. Again, everything same, only the file name has been changed. And here also same thing, only file name has been changed. And here in Android I have build.gradle, again copy pasted everything, only added this Kotlin Android namespace, Kotlin standard lib, and I have added this coil dependency because coil helps us to load an image from an URI into your image view very easily. Otherwise you will have to write a lot of code by yourself. Next, go to src. Of course, like you might be thinking that we could convert the image captured from photo to base64 and we can load that base64 in React Native's image component. Yeah, you can do that, but sending a large base64 from native to React Native side might cause some performance issues. That's why I'm not doing that way. I have defined my image. I'm extending from app compat image view, and in my image manager as well. Again, this is copied from documentation, but here you can see once we get the image URL, I'm calling the load method of coil and setting the value. And here actually the image is displayed very small, but here you can, I think, apply width and height as well. In here itself, in init block, you can apply width and height or change however you want to resize the image. I think coil also provides some, which I have only applied one, but yeah, you can do that. Again, this is copy pasted from documentation. Okay, once you do that, what you have to do is I will go to app.tsx and you have to run this command. So first run yarn add /rtn camera, then run this, then run this. Then for iOS you have to run these three commands, but make sure you do cd dot dot. You have to move outside your React Native project. So I will show you over here. So here it says do cd dot dot and then run this command, but here this should be your React Native project name over here. Here you can see, and this should be your folder name over here. Okay, next for Android, what you have to do, I will just tell you. So you have to run this command as well, and for all the iOS code will be written in the main iOS folder because I want to use Swift, and that's why you have to run this command first. So just run this command as well, so it will create a pod for all of the folders which we have created. Next, for implementation details, I will quickly show you. Go to app.tsx. So for Android I have created an Android view, so I will go to Android view over here, and here you can see I have defined whether the camera permission was granted or not, and whether we have got the image value or not. So image value will contain the image URI which has been captured from the photos and saved to your file storage. So here I am asking for camera and write permission, and once we get a callback, we are showing the camera component. Okay, and once that is done, once we get the image URI, I'm setting the image value, and if the image value is not null, then we are displaying the RTN my image, and here I'm passing the image value. Otherwise, if the permission itself is not granted, I'm setting that in a text field. Okay, so that's it for Android. Now for iOS, go to open the main iOS folder. Now iOS is little bit tricky, so first I will tell you, like, I have faced a lot of issues for RTA for camera, especially in iOS. Like, it was a bit headache for me, honestly. So I will so first you have to create RTN my camera manager. Make sure the extension is .mm. So this is an Objective C++ file. Again, I have copy pasted this from documentation. Only thing changes this file name, and you have to pass this on photo captured, but we won't be using this on photo captured. Next, for image manager, again extension is .mm. Copy pasted it from documentation. Only changes this image file name has been changed over this, and this is our prop. Next, we have to define an header file as well. So I have defined this header file, and here you can see a bunch of comments. So this was a bit of a lot of things which I was trying out. Okay, so yeah, again copy pasted it from docs. Only file name has been changed. Same for RT and my image as well. This is an header file, and copy pasted it from docs. And yeah, here if you want you can write this, because there is an issue in iOS. So this entire code works perfectly fine in a native iOS app. Again, React Native being a pain point, I know, right, like this is not a React Native thing, but the issue is that React Native is still using Objective C for a lot of things. If you look at Flutter, if you have looked at my Flutter video, again I'm using the same code and it works in Flutter. But Flutter, you don't have to write even a single line of Objective C code in Flutter. Internally Flutter uses the Objective C, but if you want to create a native module, you don't have to write Objective C. You can do it, but they have given a preference to Swift first, which is extremely good, and React Native is still not doing that. Yeah, sorry for my rant. So if you want, you can import this. So I was so the issue which I am facing is that once the image is captured from camera, I am saving it to photos, but when I am trying to display it inside my image view, it is not getting displayed. That's the issue. So I have tried it both Swift as well as Objective C way, but it is still causing me some or the other error. So I will also tell you how to mitigate that error. But yeah, so I have created this header file. Next I have to create this RTN my camera. Again, I have copy pasted this from the documentation. So I will come back to this file later, and you can create this file as well. I will come back to this file later. Then this event emitter which I have created, so we can send the image. So once a photo is been captured from the camera, we are sending an identifier, not an image URL, and that identifier helps us to load or load image from the Photos app. Okay, so this, and this is the code which I have copy pasted this from Google. Now just create this my camera file, Swift file, and Xcode will ask, do you want to create a bridging header? Say it as yes. Next, in bridging header you have to write this. Next, create this my image file, and you don't need this file. Next, you have to create a prefix header file as well. So while creating a file, new file, make sure you select prefix header.pch file. So there might be a prefix header or pch file, something like that, and you have to include this line. If you don't include this line, you will face an issue saying that protocol something what this protocol is not found. So I will tell you, this protocol AV capture photo capture delegate is not found. So once you have create this prefix header file, what you have to do is you have to go over here in my app build settings, and here you have to first make this pre-compile prefix header as yes, and in prefix header you have to write your prefix header name. So prefix header.pch. Okay, now I will come to the Swift file of my camera. So again, I have copy pasted this from Stack Overflow and bunch of other stuff. So this is the code for opening the camera. Here you can see preview view. I have taken a button as well to capture the photo. So this, once the button is clicked, we are calling this, which indirectly calls this, and here you can see that we are getting the image. Okay, so this code is not working in React Native. I don't know why. Again, it is working in on the native side. But what easy solution you can do is that instead of saving this image which is captured from camera to your Photos app, you can hide your camera. So you can hide it using this preview view dot is hidden equal to true. And once you have gotten this image, what you can do is that ImageView dot image equal to image. So I have already so here you can define an image view as well. So you can write ImageView dot image equal to this image, and you can hide your preview view. So that is one way to do it. Now this code is not working, I don't know why. Again, this exact same code I have used on the native side as well as in my Flutter app as well. And here I am saving I have created this extension function for image. I'm checking first the permission, and once we have the required permission, I'm sending this is named as URL, but this is actually a local identifier which we are sending. Okay, and same thing while requesting the first time permission as well. Now we are setting up our AV capture. So again, this is like I have copy pasted this from docs. Okay, and here you can see our extension of UI image. So this will help us to save image to our Photos app and give us a local id. So this is the local id which you get. Also go to your info.plist file, and you have to add camera permission, photo library, as well as photo library usage description. Next, I have created this my image as well. Again, this is not working, so the issue which I'm getting is that called before setting the new value. I don't understand what this means. Like, I have tried googling it as well and I couldn't find a lot of answers. So here you can see I'm properly getting the local identifier, but it is not loading. So I am also getting this error, which I don't know what this is. Anyways, but I'm showing you guys the code. Maybe it might help you in future, or it might help me in the future. So I have defined a UI view, and inside that I have taken a UI image view, and again this value is set via props. So this is the local identifier. Once we get the local identifier, I am calling get photo in library. So this will get the actual photo from the local identifier, and once you get the actual image, I'm setting it to our image view, and here I'm just initializing and applying constraints. Okay, now I will go to RT and my image first, and here you can see again I have copy pasted this from docs, and this should be your bridging header file's name. So here you can see it is my app followed by -swift.h, and this won't work in if you are creating a file in the main iOS folder. That's why we have to use something like this. And here you can see I have tried both ways. Like, I have tried creating the image view inside Objective-C as well, but it was not working. So, and this is the Swift view which we have defined, and again this is copied from docs. I have defined a UI view, I have created the image view initialization and added to our view, and this is the Objective-C code which I was writing. And here you can see once we get the prop, I am sending it to our Swift files URL, and I have tried it using Objective-C as well, but still it was not working. So this was an issue which I was getting with Objective-C. So if you know, let me know. And for RT and my camera as well, I will show you. Again, copy pasted everything from docs. Here we are initializing our camera. Here we are just defining a variable, adding it to our view. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.